do you believe the government's, shooting the messengers?
I think they're doing rather worse than that, actually. I think they're protecting their own criminality by destroying anybody who can expose them. I think that's really what's happening. I think the intent is on protecting wrongdoing, and I think there's a kind of millennial history of this, and that the situation with Julian, and helped by the fact that people like Tim Berners-Lee tried to free us to be able to communicate with each other about the big issues that are obscured from us. But my feeling is that what he represents and all these things that are being done in terms of showing the truth of how we are ruled touch on something very important historically. Thomas Jefferson, for instance, said, you can't have democracy as long as the state stands over the people. And that, oddly enough, is an echo of an ancient understanding. Plato made the same sort of point.
Yes, the truth. Don't people who speak the truth, if you like. Is that right? Similar.
It was more than that. Yes, I agree with that, Joe. Absolutely. But what he observed, and people say of Plato that you can dismiss him because he was against democracy. That this is a sad misreading. What he actually said is that your democracy cannot succeed as long as the people accept what they're told rather than authenticating it by process of questioning. Because all that happens is the society proceeds along the wishes of the oligarch, and the oligarchy remains. They call that a vertical society. And the only way to have a democracy is to have a horizontal society.
A debate, Peter. Debate is the key, isn't it? Debate about it's two sides to the bread. It's two sides to the empathy.
Yeah. It is a little more, I think, that you can have debates, but they're very selective, really, in who gets to participate in this kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree.
What really is needed is an understanding of what free speech really is. And the most important thing about free speech is that it privileges everybody to know from others what they see to be wrong with what they believe. And I call that a privilege because it means that the holder of the belief can examine the objections to that belief and confirm himself by finding flaws in the objections. But if he doesn't do that, then that means there's something wrong with his belief. And that means that the new information has to form his idea of what really is happening. And so we advance through this kind of process. But unfortunately, people don't understand free speech. And what I'm describing really is, you might say, the way a juror acts. Whereas what actually happens is that people all act like advocates. Yeah. And it's the advocate's job to win the argument by hook or by crook, regardless of the merit of the other case. And that's the kind of process we're stuck in, and we are encouraged to be stuck in that by a government that asks for loyalty, which it often gets, and the people who say, "Oh no, they're not telling you the truth," are really attacked by the loyalists as being kind of black sheep, whereas they're the ones that have it within them to state what the objections to current belief is. And that needs a process of information interchange to get there. So the way I see the role of Julian is in informing people, and that can lead to a proper debate. And that can, for the first time in history, possibly, put the government, not the government, the state, under the people rather than the people under the state. And the way you can do that, because the problem about the state is that it has the right to resort to force, for instance. And what is needed is it to be revealed when they are behaving in what we would regard as an illegal manner, a way that we would be punished by them, if you like. And that needs it to be an ordinary duty, you might say, or responsibility, regarded as an ordinary responsibility of people, to inform their fellows when they're aware of criminality. And for them to observe that without fear or favor, the next thing there has to be is a protection for those people from being got at by those who don't want the illegality to come out. And to do that, you need a law as well that makes it, it's a higher law that means you can't hide crime behind arrangements of secrecy. It's okay to have secrecy to hide your military dispositions from your enemies, for instance, but it's wholly wrong and destructive of potential democracy for the state to be able to commit crimes and the people who reveal them to be punished for telling their fellows of these crimes.